Hey, everybody, this is George Fotion, called Realty Best Palos Verdes Homes, and I'm going to do something a little bit new, so I hope it works. Um, what I'm going to try is adding chapters to this video because it's going to be a little long, maybe 7, 8, 9 minutes, something like that. Um, and we'll see if it works or not. That way you could jump to wherever you want to go. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll just kind of go with it. All right, so what are we doing here? We're trying to figure out what the market has been doing just recently and what it's likely to be doing in the future. And if you've listened to any of my videos or watched any of my videos in the past, what that really means is that we're going to be studying facts and objective data about supply and demand. We're going to be looking at new listing volume as an indicator of supply, and we're going to be looking at pending sale volume as an indicator of demand. Real estate is an asset, just like gold, silver, live cattle, oil, whatever. It's a commodity. It's an asset. So its price is regulated just like any other commodity. Supply and demand. Supply is low and demand is high. What do you think prices are going to do? I mean, it's inevitable. And the opposite is also true. So we want to keep careful watch on the changing trends of supply and demand because that will tell us how we can guide you as realtors where to price your property at, and if you're buying, uh, how to strategically place your offer so that you're not losing money and hopefully make money either way, selling or buying, depending on what hat we're putting on. Right. So the first thing to do is go to bestpalosverdeshomes.com. Sorry, that's my old site. Scratch that. Go to palosverdeshomesbest.com. And of course, this works for any property in California. I cover the markets of Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, Redondo Beach, Torrance, the Palos Verdes Peninsula, and coastal San Pedro. I don't go anywhere other than that. All right, so go to the blog after you go to palosverdeshomesbest.com. And what you want to, I'll never change this graphic here. So even though I may add to which I do, I add blog articles all the time. It may not be in a first position. Just look for this graphic and you can scroll down to see, all the other blog articles I've written. This is the one you want for the purposes of this video. All right, so let's click on that. And I have some narrative stuff going on here. This video will be replaced by the video I'm doing right now. And then you can scroll through these charts. I'm going to get into these charts in a minute. And then you can also go down to this table because this table feeds what the charts are doing. All right, I'll get to this in a second. All right, so let me go to my spreadsheets first of all, and let's look at the entire South Bay and what's happening uh, 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 in the South Bay. Now, what this chart does, by the way, you're not going to find any real estate broker in Palos Verdes or anywhere in the South Bay that has this kind of data. I promise you, you're not, because no one has been disciplined and diligent enough since the early 90s to every day track this data, record it. I mean, you should see the size of my spreadsheets. So what this chart is telling us is this. I take what the average price of a property sold in the South Bay, what was that average price this month? And the last recorded month was June of 2024. And what was the average monthly price paid for a property in the South Bay in June of 2023? So I'm tracking the delta, the differential. And I do that because that gives me a sense of momentum. How is the market being propelled by buyer activity? And clearly, since early spring of 2023, every consecutive month, prices have been higher than that same month the previous year. So this momentum increase here is very, very important. Now we're going to watch this kind of these low points here. I'll tell you, if that ever gets penetrated, we're in a world of hurt. But so far, no no sign of that whatsoever. Momentum is very positive. All right. I do the same thing for Palos Verdes Estates, and the results aren't as positive, but they're still not terrible. The trend here, we have a low point here and a low point here, so we have higher low points. It looks like momentum is increasing a little bit. I'm going to guess that, when I do this same analysis on August 1st, we'll see this blue line up a little bit. That's my guess, but we'll see. Time will tell. So that's one set of information that we can learn from. Let's look at some other stuff too. Let me go to another chart. Stand by a second. Here we go. Okay. In this chart, so I'm going to be going through different areas and profiling different areas. And this has this kind of a different side of the coin. This is for rolling hills only, and this tracks the number of days of unsold inventory. This is another indicator of how the market is doing. If we see progressively lower and lower number of days of unsold inventory, we can confidently predict that the market is going to strongly appreciate. That's not what we're seeing for rolling hills. We're seeing a big jump in the amount of unsold inventory, from 300 days of unsold inventory to 400. Why? Does that mean sellers are delusional and thinking their properties are worth way more than what they really are? Are buyers pulling back because sellers are pricing their homes too high? We have to get into that. If you're a homeowner in Rolling Hills, you want the answer to that question, and we have to make an appointment to talk about that. What about Rolling Hills Estates? Quite different, huh? We have 235 days of unsold inventory in the 6-month period measured last year, January 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2023, versus the same time slot for this year. And for the last 6-month interval, we see a measured drop in unsold inventory. That's pretty good for if you're a homeowner in Rolling Hills Estates. That's pretty good. That's very favorable. Maybe when you're looking at a price range, if you're thinking about selling, maybe this gives you a reason to kind of push the envelope a little bit. And if you're a buyer, it's likely you're going to be competing with other buyers because demand is strong. That's why the number of days of unsold inventory dropped. So this helps you strategically position where your offer should be. How about Rancho Palos Verdes? Different again, an increase in the number of days of unsold inventory. And I do the same thing for the greater South Bay as a whole. Big jump, big jump. Now, put this in perspective with that other chart I showed you. Remember I showed you this chart here where every month prices are getting higher and higher than the same month the year before? Well, that's kind of interesting, and that makes sense when we're looking at this because prices have started to increase so much that now the buyers are kind of taking a pause. They're not jumping so fast. So again, for a more global or macro viewpoint for the entire South Bay, if you're a homeowner in the South Bay thinking of selling, you kind of look at this and go, okay, wait a minute, I better be really careful about how I price my property. For the peninsula as a whole, kind of similar. Prices have been going up in the last year, so we see, we see a demand slowing a little bit as prices have increased. PVE absorption, wow, that just jumped big time from the last 6-month period and from the period of time before, from 246 days in this time slot to 283. If you're a PVE homeowner thinking of selling, this is very, very important. You cannot push the envelope. You got to price your home very competitively to get it sold, efficiently. It's just the facts, folks. I mean, these are the numbers. The numbers don't lie. And this really is the key to understanding the previous charts I just showed that are measuring the absorption. This shows the differential in supply and demand. For example, in Rolling Hills, the green bar is supply, listing volume. Big jump, 17.65%, whereas demand, evidenced by pending sale volume, down 10%. No wonder the number of days of unsold inventory for rolling hills. Let's see if I can get to that quickly. So, all right, more supply, less demand. What happened? Boom, big increase in the number of days of unsold inventory. All right, let's go back to the change. For Rolling Hills Estates, demand dropped, but supply dropped even more. And how did that get reflected in the number of days of unsold inventory? It dropped, predictably. Interesting, huh? Rancho Palos Verdes, huge increase in supply and a very small decrease in demand, essentially unchanged, but a big increase in supply. And that's why we saw the number of days of unsold inventory increase. Same for Palos Verdes Estates. Big increase in supply, essentially unchanged in demand, but that's going to obviously reflect in the absorption rate, 283 days of unsold inventory. That means potentially if you're a homeowner and thinking of selling, then you unless you price it right, you could be on the market a really long time. All right, let's go back to the website. I'll close up here. So you can see all the numbers that I'm basing the charts on here. And if you don't mind, when you're on this site, answer this little survey question. I'm keeping record of this, and I'll publish it from time to time. And your opinion matters, because that's, you know what? I graduated from UCLA in '79 with double major, psychology and economics. Why did I choose those disciplines? Well, psychology is the study of the human mind, but what is economics? The study of human behavior in the marketplace. Your opinion matters. So I really would keenly interested in what you think about what's going to happen next. All right, that's 12 minutes and 5 seconds. I'm done. See you next month. Check out other facets of my market, my website, and thank you again for your time in watching this video. Bye for now.